As promised after part one last weekend, here is part two of my interview with photographer Jon Soohoo, where he talks more about his journey from growing up a Los Angeles sports fan to becoming the team photographer for one of its most iconic franchises.
Why sports? Has it always been something that you've loved? Why did you want to get involved in sports photography in particular?
Well, my mom and dad had season tickets for USC football forever. And so starting probably early 70s, I started going to them like every game. I'd go every SC football game, the Coliseum. We sat up at Stairway 10, which is like above the big tunnel. And I would just love going to games. And then, at some point as I got older, I was like, hey, Mom, how do you get down there? It's like the SC games were really crowded, back in the 70s. They were really pretty good in the 70s. They were dominant in the 70s. So there was always a crowd, and it was, arm elbow to elbow with your fan next to you. But on the field it was empty. I said, how do you get down there? So that kind of sparked my interest. There was no high school photography classes at LA Marshall at the time. So I just played sports at that time. So I just played basketball and track. And so that kind of generated my interest in doing, something that wasn't playing the game and that could, I guess, last. And so this kind of was a blessing.
What makes the Dodgers organization special?
They care about everything. They're on the pulse of everything. They want to be, cutting edge, and they're not complacent, sitting back and watching. They're actually participating. Going back to, O'Malley days from when I first started going to spring training and going on the road trips. And, there was no social media back then. They didn't have to take me with them. Not many other teams take their team photographer with them, but I, was blessed by a very kind gentleman in the PR department who let me go. And so when I went on these trips, I made sure I was getting images that were going to be historically, worth it.
And one of those historic photos that you've taken is Kirk Gibson's home run. What was it like to be a part of that?
It was pretty incredible after the event. During the event, I was, back in the day, there was 35 millimeter film. Your roll goes up to 36 exposure. That's as much as you can shoot. It's not like digital cards. You can shoot 5 million on one card. I had 36 frames. And so when I saw him on the on-deck circle, I was already at 15 on my roll of black and white film. And so I was like, yeah, maybe I should probably change roles, because then I can, get more of the home run or whatever is going to happen. And the next thing you know, he almost like backhands it. It was just pure physics how that ball went right out. And I'm not obviously a physics person, but it was pretty amazing how he just kind of like backhanded it over the right field fence. And it was also manual focus back in the day. So I'm trying to keep track of him. Try to be aware that I'm going to run out of film at some point. And when he come around third, it's just not messing up my focus. My exposure has to be right. And then, there are 56,000 fans yelling, and it was so exciting. That was probably the most exciting moment in my Dodger history. JT's home run also was as exciting. But at the time when, 20-something-year-old kids shooting the World Series, it's pretty amazing to have that kind of electricity. And the energy was phenomenal at Dodger Stadium that night.